This video is about Show Your Work, a book from Kleon with 10 ways to share your creativity and get discovered. So the first thing I really loved about this book, besides the awesome format that's very nice to read, it's short, but it doesn't lack any content. Of course, when choosing which book to read next, I don't just look for the quickest one to read, for the shortest one with the least amount of pages, but the other books I read this year were all pretty long, about 300 pages each, and they all at some point repeated itself over and over again. And of course, there is nothing wrong with that. If something is important, you should repeat it over and over so it gets burned into your mind. But this book just really got to a point and I really enjoyed that. Also, it has a lot of pictures and graphics, which doesn't mean it's a children's book, but they were all really beautifully designed and illustrated the text pretty good, I have to say. I really enjoyed it. So the first thing I want to talk about is in regards to posting and uploading online. He mentioned the word stock and flow. You should always have a balance between stock and flow. Flow is the feed, the posts and tweets, is the stream of daily updates that remind people that you exist. Now stock is the durable stuff, the content that's interesting now, in 2 months and even 2 years from now. It's something that you can discover via search, something that spreads slowly but surely and builds fans over time. Also, stock is best made by collecting, organizing and expanding upon your flow. Now the next important part, I also mentioned this in another book that I read, I'm not quite sure which one it is right now, but it's storytelling, and that you can sell easier with storytelling. I think it was the 4-Hour Work Week. If you haven't watched it already, you can watch it up here or up here. I'm new at the location, so I don't know where. It's a new location, it's the book reading location, I thought. Maybe this could be the book couch. I don't know, let me know what you think about that. Now he gave the example of an experiment where 2 people bought random insignificant things off of a flea market or a yard sale. The items were an average of $1.25 each. Now then after that, they hired professional and non-professional, famous and not so famous, writers to invent stories that attributed significance to each of the objects. Finally, they listed the objects on eBay using the story as the description of the products. Now in the end, they sold $128.74 worth of random stuff for a whopping $3,612.51. And that really shows you that storytelling and applying significance to whatever you're trying to sell can really make the difference. Also, is that even legal? I guess for an experiment, probably. A very great representation of how you describe something was also on page 94, where this triangle could be described as a mountain, a shark fin, a stalagmite, a wizard head, a tortilla chip, or even just a triangle. The next chapter I want to talk about is talk about yourself at parties. Now, I found myself in this situation where someone is asking, what are you doing for a living, or what are you doing in general? And you don't really know a definite answer to that, because you yourself don't even know what you're really doing. So you should have an answer ready if someone is asking you what you're doing. Be truthful and don't lie. And also you should strike adjectives from your description. Now, for example, if you're taking photos, you're not an aspiring photographer. You're also not an amazing photographer. You're a photographer. Don't get cute, don't brag, just speak the facts. Now then he gives an awesome example on how an album was made just because of a single tweet. Music producer Adrian Young was on Twitter asking his fans who's better, the Dramatics or the Delphonics. Now as his followers started to debate about the 2 soul groups, I have to admit I personally don't really know anything about the 2 of them, one of his followers pointed out that the lead singer of the Delphonics, William Hart, was actually a friend of his dad's and happened to be a fan of Young's music. The follower then suggested that the 2 of them should collaborate. Fast forward one day and William Hart was on the phone with Adrian Young, and that resulted in the 2 of them making a collaboration album record which was called Adrian Young Presents the Delphonics. Now this story perfectly shows what happens when a musician, or any artist for that matter, interacts with his fans on the level of a fan himself. Now if you're doing some creative work and you want to share your stuff with others, you want to show your work, and you might even want to get discovered, definitely give this book a read. It's linked down below in the description. Also check out Kleon's website, also linked down below. And also check out his other book, Steal Like an Artist. I haven't read it yet, but I definitely want to give it a try because it sounds like a good book from what I've heard so far. And that's sadly all we got time for today. As always, guys, I did not cover everything. I did not even scratch the tip of the iceberg that is in this book. If you want to know everything, you have to read it for yourself, which I could recommend. But those were just some interesting topics, some interesting bits of information that I got from this book that I thought would be very helpful if I would share them with you. And I will hopefully see you in the next video where we're reviewing another book, or you get some filmmaking advice, or an After Effects tutorial. If you want to know about that, feel free to stick around. Goodbye!